Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd like to do today on this walk is to talk about a book entitled Bringing Up Boys by an author named James C. Dobson. And this book has been around for a while and was published on the 18th of September 2001. This book provides practical advice for raising boys in today's world, emphasizing the unique challenges and needs that boys face as they grow and develop. The first key point that comes from this book is a powerful one, where the author talks about the importance of boys growing up with strong role models. The author Dobson highlights the importance of boys having positive male role models, not female role models, but male role models. This is important, especially fathers or father figures, to guide them with their emotional, moral, and behavioural development. Boys learn best from observing how adult men handle challenges, how adult men handle relationships, and how adult men handle responsibilities. A strong, engaged male role model can provide boys with the framework for becoming responsible and confident men. I was pretty lucky to have had a very, very good father, as well as good uncles. And I also was fortunate that my parents sent me to a very good school. I went to Newington College, a school that for 161 years was renowned for being one of the best boys' schools, one of the best educational institutions that focused on boys and growing boys into men and future leaders. When I was at school, the majority of the teachers were male. And this now makes sense to me, because boys, according to this author here, need strong male role models. And the author goes on to talk about the fact that we need to understand boys' developmental differences. Boys are different from girls. And the author here, Dobson, stresses that boys develop differently from girls in terms of emotional, physical, and cognitive growth. For those who are parents, you know this is pretty obvious, but I can't understand how people still need to argue about it and talk about it. But no, it's pretty obvious that boys and girls are different, especially during their formative years. And the author here reminds parents that they should be mindful of these important differences, particularly how boys may process emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness. Understanding that boys may express themselves very differently can help parents tailor their approach to nurture their sons emotional health. The authors here talk about setting clear boundaries and expectations. Discipline and structure are very important for raising boys, and Dobson advises parents to set clear boundaries, to set unambiguous and clear expectations and consequences for behaviour, as boys often thrive, and this is important as well to know, boys often thrive when they know what's expected of them, and discipline should be consistent but loving, helping boys understand accountability while also feeling supported and appreciated. Boys need to be protected from negative cultural influences, and this book warns of the harmful effects of modern media and cultural pressures that can distort boys' perceptions of masculinity, violence, and success. Exposure to pornography and that sort of stuff can also distort a boy's view on what is normal. So the author encourages parents to be vigilant in protecting boys from unhealthy influences such as violent video games, inappropriate television, or toxic peer groups. Instead, parents should provide positive alternatives that align with their values. And that's what a good school helps to do for boys. We need to encourage emotional expression, and while society often teaches boys to suppress their emotions, Dobson emphasises the importance of encouraging boys to express their feelings in healthy ways, teaching boys that it's okay to feel and talk about their emotions, whilst whether they're sad, afraid, or overwhelmed, helps them grow into emotionally mature and well-adjusted men. So in this book, Bringing Up Boys, the author talks at length and offers many insights into the unique needs of boys and provides parents of boys with simple and key strategies to raise confident, respectful, and emotionally healthy young men in this complex and confusing world that we live in. And it's fair to say that since this book was written, a whole generation has moved on. 24 years have passed. And in that 24 years, we've got the influences of social media, we've got the influences of internet games, we've got the influences of the digital world, we've got the influences of media and television and all of these other things competing at the same time. We've got identity politics raising its ugly head, and it can be so confusing being a boy and trying to traverse all of these distractions. At the end of the day, when I was growing up as a boy, it was pretty easy. You went to school, you played sport, you watched a bit of television, you worked, you did your homework, you focused on school, and you just tried to do the best you possibly could. Whereas these days, there are so many traps, there are so many opinions, there are so many diverse opinions, there's so much wokeness about that it's hard to say anything or to support anything or to suggest anything without being attacked by people who have differing opinions. Anyway, thanks for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, and we'll chat again soon.